It was much more calm in the capital on Tuesday night, but in some parts of London where rioters did take to the streets, they didn't just come up against police.
People just don't want to, have what's happened in Main Croydon happen in our community. We protect our own homes. We don't want that up here.
We ain't having all these people coming up here and ruining our place, right? burning our town down, right? We're here, we're going to make a stand.
In some communities, including New Addington and in Enfield, the locals stood guard outside their houses and shops, while others patrolled the streets to much fanfare.
We're here for one reason, to stick up for our families. My girlfriend and my children sit at home. I'm here to protect them, and I'll protect them till I die, mate.
This is London. These are the people of London, not the small minority that are going around smashing up stuff that have got nothing to wake up for in the morning.
In Eltham in South London, large groups of local residents formed crowds in the roads to stop any potential rioters and looters getting close.
We have protected Eltham High Street, okay? Right, and that's the only reason we come out tonight, is to protect Eltham High Street. There is no violence. We've got a few idiots in the crowd, as with everywhere, that are actually starting to cause a little bit of trouble. We don't want no trouble with the police, we don't want no trouble anywhere.
But while the rioting spread to other cities overnight, in London it was really the increased police presence that meant the city stayed relatively safe. A brief period of respite perhaps, so the clean-up can really begin. A process that's expected to cost tens of millions of pounds.
There are more police on the street, more people have been arrested, and more people are being charged and prosecuted. Last night there were around 16,000 police on the streets of London, and there is evidence that a more robust approach to policing in London resulted in a much quieter night across the capital. And let me pay tribute to the bravery of those police officers and indeed everyone working for our emergency services. In total, there have been 750 arrests in London since Saturday, with more than 160 people being charged. Today, major police operations are underway as I speak to arrest the criminals who were not picked up last night, but who were picked up on closed-circuit television cameras. Picture by picture, these criminals are being identified and arrested, and we will not let any phony concerns about human rights get in the way of the publication of these pictures and the arrest of these individuals. As I speak, sentences are also being passed. Courts sat through the night last night and will do again tonight. It is for the courts to sentence, but I would expect anyone convicted of violent disorder will be sent to prison. We needed a fight back, and a fight back is underway. We have seen the worst of Britain, but I also believe we've seen some of the best of Britain. The million people who've signed up on Facebook to support the police. Communities coming together in the clean-up operations. But there is absolutely no room for complacency, and there is much more to be done. Overnight, we saw the same appalling violence and thuggery that we've seen in London, in new cities including Birmingham, Manchester and Nottingham. In the West Midlands, 3 men were killed in a hit and run in Birmingham, and the police are working round the clock to get to the bottom of what happened and bring the perpetrator to justice. In Birmingham, over 160 arrests were made. In Salford, up to 1,000 youths were attacking the police at the height of the disturbance. Across Greater Manchester, more than 100 arrests were made. And in Nottinghamshire, Canning Circus police station was firebombed and over 80 arrests were made. This continued violence is simply not acceptable, and it will be stopped. We will not put up with this in our country. We will not allow a culture of fear to exist on our streets. Let me be clear. At Cobra this morning we agreed full contingency planning is going ahead. Whatever resources the police need, they will get. Whatever tactics the police feel they need to employ, they will have legal backing to do so. We will do whatever is necessary to restore law and order onto our streets. Every contingency is being looked at. Nothing is off the table. The police are already authorised to use baton rounds, and we agreed at Cobra that while they're not currently needed, we now have in place contingency plans for water cannon to be available at 24 hours' notice. It is all too clear that we have a big problem with gangs in our country. For too long, there's been a lack of focus on the complete lack of respect shown by these groups of thugs. I'm clear that they are in no way representative of the vast majority of young people in our country who despise them, frankly, as much as the rest of us do. But there are pockets of our society that are not just broken, but frankly sick. When we see children as young as 12 and 13 looting and laughing, when we see the disgusting sight of an injured young man with people pretending to help him while they are robbing him, it is clear there are things that are badly wrong in our society. For me, the root cause of this mindless selfishness is the same thing that I have spoken about for years. It is a complete lack of responsibility in parts of our society, people allowed to feel that the world owes them something, that their rights outweigh their responsibilities, and that their actions do not have consequences. Well, they do have consequences. We need to have a clearer code of values and standards that we expect people to live by, and stronger penalties if they cross the line. Restoring a stronger sense of responsibility across our society, in every town, in every street, in every estate, is something I'm determined to do. Tomorrow, Cobra will meet again, Cabinet will meet, I'll make a statement to Parliament, I'll set out in full the measures that we'll take to help businesses that have been affected, to help rebuild communities, to help rebuild the shops and buildings that have been damaged, to make sure the homeless are rehoused, to help local authorities in all the ways that are necessary. But today, right now, the priority is still clear. We will take every action necessary to bring order back to our streets.
Shops have been targeted, they've been looted and set on fire, as criminals have, I think, brought shame upon the cities, particularly of Manchester and Salford. And I want to make it absolutely clear, they have nothing to protest against. There is nothing in a sense of injustice, and there's been no spark which has led to this. This has been senseless violence and senseless criminality on a scale that I have never witnessed before. This has been an incredibly challenging situation. And my officers are out there now, still facing incredible levels of aggression and violence, and still making arrests as we battle to regain control here in Manchester and Salford. We will continue to make arrests as the evening progresses. But again, I want to be very clear on this point. We have extensive CCTV footage of all the activity that has gone on tonight in Greater Manchester. We have made it absolutely clear that as early as tomorrow, we will come and arrest people who have been committing acts of violence and criminality against Manchester and Salford and other parts of Greater Manchester. And I would ask all members of communities across Greater Manchester to think very carefully and seriously about who they support and who they want to bring to justice for these acts which have ripped the heart out of two great cities.